Right, so we have a violin that's in tune, we have a bow that works. What happens if you need to change a string? Now there are two reasons for changing a string. It could be that you've broken a string. As I mentioned earlier, if you over-tension strings, they can sometimes break, which is why I would always advise you not to over-tension a string. But also, we need to change strings regularly in order to get the best performance from our instrument. So, let's have a look at how we would do it. Now, this is an easy process in this case because the strings are already on the instrument and none of them are broken. All I do is I would take the instrument like this. I would actually get hold of the string like that. I would then undo the peg and take the tension out. And eventually you can pull and it will come out quite quickly. Now, if I look at the peg, if you can see in the camera there, there's a tiny little hole in the peg. Now that hole is where the string goes through so that it's gripped by the peg. Also, if we look at the tailpiece itself, you can see just there where the end of the ball end of the string goes. And if you look at the string, you'll see there's a little brass ball at the end which fits into that little slot. So I'm going to do the reverse process now and put this string back onto the violin so that you can see what it entails. Now, were you to be changing all of the strings on a violin, I would always do it in this way, one at a time, leaving the other strings up to pitch and up to tension. The reason for this is between the front and the back of the instrument, and I don't know if the camera can actually see into it, it might be able to, there's a little peg that runs between the front and the back that we call the sound post. And the sound post is very important to get good quality sound out of the instrument. You just mustn't use a violin if it hasn't got its sound post properly fitted. But it isn't glued in, it's just freestanding. It's fitted to the front and the back in a way that makes it stand up like that. But sometimes, if you take all of the strings off at once, it will release a little bit of the pressure and cause the sound post to fall over. So I would always advise, if you're changing a full set of strings, to change them just one at a time. Right, so let's have a go at putting the string back on. I'm going to pop the peg back into its hole there. This is the A string that we're going to be changing. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to put the ball end into the slot there. What I would also be inclined to do at this stage is that with the adjusters, is just unwind the adjuster so you've got the maximum amount to be able to adjust the pitch of the string at a later stage. I'm putting the string up so it's nice and tight. Just want to make sure that you can see this with the camera. I would normally do this sitting down, but I will do it for the camera standing up. I'm going to straighten this string, and of course if it's a new string it will be perfectly straight, so I'm having to just unfurl this string to make sure that it will go into the hole. Now this might be quite hard to see on the camera shot, but if we get the hole aligned there, you can see the hole. I'm going to pop the end of the string into the hole. Easier said than done on this occasion. There we are. I'm going to push it through so that it sticks out the other side of the hole by about 4 millimeters. So I put it through, and I think the camera might just be able to pick up how it's come out the other side. Nope. A little bit more. There we go. Sometimes they're a little bit awkward. You have to give it an extra push for it to come out. But you can see, I hope, on camera that the end is sticking out the other side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the peg, making sure that it's still sticking out. Now I'm going to come the peg head side of the bit that's sticking out. And then I'm going to go through the gap. I don't know if you can pick this up all right. So that comes there. And then cross over and then start winding out towards the peg. Now the reason we do this is so the string is gripping itself to make sure that it can't spring out of that hole. So the string is now properly gripped. And as often happens, the ball end has popped out at the bottom. So all I'm going to do is pop it back in, pull the tension there, and bring the string up to tension. And go through the same process that we saw earlier in terms of tuning the violin. But of course the other strings are in tune, so it's easy to understand. Get the pitch of the instrument right. That's just slightly over pitch there. There we are. As you become more experienced with using your violin, you'll find you'll be able to tune the violin by ear much more and be less dependent on the tuner. Now, of course, we've pulled the bridge slightly forward where we've increased the tension. So I'm just going to very quickly repeat what we did earlier to make sure that the feet are sitting nicely as they should. And there we are, one new string on the violin. So, we've looked at how we put the bridge up in the first place, we've tuned the violin, we've looked at how we use the bow, and you know how to change a string. So, all you need to do is do lots of practice and have lots of fun with your Sandner violin, viola or cello. It will bring you many, many hours of pleasure. So, thank you for watching, and goodbye.